Hello and welcome to the visualization. Today, I teach you how to combat sound torture or vehicular sound torture, assuming that people within government might be using infrared or thermal vision to sound torture you while you're indoors or outdoors with vehicles or in other ways. So, if you're indoors and you're, let's say, on a first floor level and someone's on a second floor level and they're sound torturing you in coordination with your movements as if they're using infrared or thermal vision, what you do is you buy a $6 stress ball from Cumberland Farms, maybe multiple if you want, and you prepare yourself and you wait. As soon as you make a move and they make a sound with a stomp or a movement of an object like a chair or table, a thud noise, as soon as they make that thud noise or that tap noise or the bang, whatever it is, you prepare to throw this at your wall towards the corner of the wall. So then it bounces off of one wall and then bounces off the next wall from corner to corner. So that's doubling the sound that they're sending at you. Now, what I learned today earlier at Noria gas station on Sabata Street in Lewiston, Maine, is people will take it to the extent of trying to bother you inside of even a gas station or indoors almost anywhere. So what you can do is you can go rock picking and you can pick a rock. I found this one with my father at Auburn Lake in Auburn, Maine. You can use this to tap on the counter that you're sitting at, the table that you're sitting at, or maybe the walls near you. You can drop it on the ground. Hopefully I didn't damage it. You can drop it on the ground. Of course, their flooring is louder than this flooring. This is concrete. So you can certainly defend yourself. Now, as far as your locality's law enforcement or the whole national law enforcement, even including the military, if they're not doing anything to address your claims, and your claims are probably backed by cell phone tower data as far as vehicular sound torture goes, because if the drivers are regularly circling your proximity and revving their engines in coordination with your movements and speech, assuming that they must be using infrared or thermal vision, what was I leading up to? So if you feel, that, your national or local law enforcement isn't doing anything, or your military, this is another aspect to combating it, is you can go to the United Nations website and go to their complaint form or whatnot, and you can favorite or bookmark that submission form or that particular URL website, save that form URL as a bookmark or a favorite or shortcut if you're using a mobile device. Specifically, it's, ideal for a mobile device if you're unhoused, if you don't have a laptop, etc., a computer. So you use your browser, your web browser on your mobile device, you bookmark or favorite or shortcut the submission form to file a complaint on the United Nations website, and you copy and paste, however you want to word it. How I would word it is keep allowing people to conduct mass coordinated privacy invasion, stalking, vehicular sound pollution, terrorism / warfare, and sound torture war crimes in coordination with my movements and speech for the past 3+ years since October 2022, assuming that they're using infrared or thermal vision, along with abusing their power within government. The cell phone tower data would link all of these drivers to the scenes of the crimes. So don't think that you're helpless, and don't think that you're alone if you are feeling sound tortured, gang stalked, or whatever, because there is evidence to back you up, and that's cell phone tower data. And a lot of these newer vehicles, they have GPS systems in them too. So don't think that these people have so much power that they cannot be traced, because they can. Now, on a more direct level, if you're walking down the street regularly and you can't afford a speaker, that's another thing. A speaker, a good $300 JBL speaker with the shoulder strap, the Extreme 4, that is ideal for flooding out noises around you. For me, I have high-pitched ringing in the ears, tinnitus, so I just enjoy listening to music anyways. But out of coincidence, I am a sound torture victim of 3+ years since October 2022. So also being unhoused, me using a JBL Extreme 4 speaker to combat sound torture, vehicular sound torture specifically, it's a great tool to combat it. Now, back to what I was saying, though. If it's more direct and you don't have a speaker, and you're walking down the road and they keep revving their engines, they keep on, going to every street corner, pulling up to every street that you approach, every intersection that you approach, they're parked around every corner on every street, whatever it is, whatever type of harassment, but specific to direct vehicular engine revs. As soon as, you might not have the same, bass in your voice as a male, so you might be less successful as a female, but as a male, if you'd like to combat sound torture, of course, while walking on the fine line of disorderly conduct, you can respond to these engine revs by doing this. Like you're about to puke. Like, and of course you can change the pitch, or you can change the amount of bass that you present or that you vocalize. And that's about it, So don't feel helpless. Don't feel like the government can just keep on torturing you when you know better. So to summarize, we have a natural rock. It's not even that big. It's not even heavy. We have a natural rock that can combat sound torture indoors mainly. We have a stress ball that can combat indoor sound torture, even if they're in the same room as you. And so that's 2. We have a speaker. You can have a speaker to combat sound torture, usually used for outdoors. And you have a mobile device, or you can borrow somebody's mobile device, but specifically it's best to have one and have it linked to your actual name. So then there's actual documentation of your first and last name associated with sending reports to the United Nations about being tortured. So rock, stress ball, speaker, mobile device, and your own voice. So you have 5 different ways to combat sound torture. If you ever need any advice, if you need me to report to the FBI on your behalf because maybe you feel uncomfortable with invading your own privacy and providing your own name or information, if you prefer to remain anonymous, I think there are ways to report to the FBI while remaining anonymous, but at the same time, that will limit their ability to investigate the claims. But certainly, the cell phone tower data over these past 3 years since October 2022 has been a savior to my brain power. Because, of course, if I didn't realize on my own account that the cell phone tower data proves my claims to be true, but also specifically links all of these sound torturers to the scenes of the crime, it eventually made me feel a little bit more it made me feel more confident about the entire situation and whether or not I could defend myself in the entire situation, whether that be in general or legally. I have defeated the sound torture program. And if it continues, I will, escalate it to Supreme Court. And to be honest, after 3+ years, about 1,000+ days, it's been unsuccessful. I mean, look at me. Like, do I look affected? Like, you've revved engines and you've used rumbling, buzzing, and growling, vibrational sound torture, vehicular sound torture, using infrared and thermal vision, weaponizing vehicles, and I'm still not, I'm still well spoken, still well spoken. Um, I still have a lot of my memory, my intellect, my logic. My physical and mental health is still grade A. I am still perfectly sane. And yes, in the midst of this happening to me, Robert Card did more easily commit his mass shootings in the same locality, while whoever within government misused their resources to sound torture me with infrared and thermal vision along with vehicles. Within the first 18 months of it happening, started in October 2022. About 1 year later, Robert Card committed his mass shootings. And 2 months before he did his mass shootings, I was regularly in contact with 988, the suicide hotline. And that's another way you can combat sound torture, is the suicide hotline. That's a total of 6 different ways. You can keep calling 988 and saying, "Hey, I'm being tortured." And then if they really care, they might just sit there and listen to your surroundings while you stand there or whatever, or at least try to hear you out. So, I'm trying to make this under 10 minutes, but yeah, those are 6 ways to combat sound torture. And the cell phone tower data will link the sound torturers to the scenes of the crimes. Robert Card did more easily commit his mass shootings because the government limited their scope at the corner of Russell Street and Main Street and the overpass bridge near it to weaponize vehicles while utilizing and misusing infrared or thermal vision technologies to watch my every move and then make sounds premeditatively with vehicles before I do things or as I do things, and also follow up mockery sound torture engine revs. Again, your sound torture program caused 18 deaths and you're still doing it. The influence, the influence and the I don't know how to say it any better, but the sound torture program was way too, this city and this country were way too devoted to sound torturing me, and instead they could have been properly utilizing their resources to potentially detect and thwart Robert Card's mass shootings. Case closed. Throughout this past 3+ years, I was my own lawyer, my own investigator, my own judge, my own journalist, and however else you want to word it. And I succeeded. So, once again, keep allowing people to sound torture and mock me with vehicles for the past 3+ years since October 2022, assuming they're also utilizing infrared or thermal vision to see through walls and watch all of my movements, and always make me feel monitored, stalked, gang stalked, while also allowing 18 people to die while you do so. Watch what happens. Maybe I should word that better. Keep allowing people to conduct mass coordinated privacy invasion, stalking, vehicular sound pollution, terrorism / warfare, and sound torture war crimes in coordination with my movements and speech, while misusing military-grade weaponry, specifically infrared or thermal vision, to combine weaponry which is not supposed to be weaponry. A vehicle is not supposed to be weaponry. It is supposed to be a form of it's supposed to be an evolutionary invention for transportation for humans, or also other, for goods and for animals. We invented vehicles 140 years ago or so, 1885. We also are capable of building skyscrapers since 1885, 140 years ago. Therefore, there should be no reason for 800,000 plus unhoused American citizens. That's not the American dream, and that's leaving a void in our tax system. It's also making high-class, mid-class people feel obligated to punch down on impoverished people, unhoused people, perhaps drive by them on purpose, harassing them, driving in front of them, not letting them cross the street, stuff like that. So keep torturing people and keep conducting a war on poor. Watch what happens legally. How are the United Nations investigations? Haha, 9/11. With all due respect.